Hi! Thanks for watching. You're watching Thompson's Talk Movies.
Woo-hoo.
Thompson's Talk Movies. Talk about movies. We are Thompson people. I'm Andy.
I'm Todd.
And I'm Gabe.
And today we watched Jojo Rabbit all together. And then I watched the other World War II movie called Fury.
I finished watching the series Avatar: The Last Airbender.
And I watched the other Netflix series called Space Force.
As far as Jojo Rabbit's concerned, it was released in 2020?
2019.
2019? Yeah, sorry, yep. It's about a year old now. And it was PG-13, and it was directed by Taika Waititi. I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly. It was made for $14 million, and it made $90 million. As far as the plot is concerned, it's about a 10-year-old boy in Nazi Germany, and he's super into Hitler. Like posters on the wall, and he's got his little, short shorts, and his armbands, and his hats, and his little medals, and everything like that. He's a very cute kid.
Yeah, he's an awesome actor that played the part.
Yeah, his name, I wrote it down, Roman Griffin Davis. He's from England.
Yeah.
And he's the main character. He's Jojo.
Yeah, he carries the show.
Johannes is his name, but they call him Jojo.
Yeah.
Vince Kinsler? I can't remember his last name. And then Scarlett Johansson plays his mom, and then Sam Rockwell sort of plays his scoutmaster, for lack of a better word. And then
the protector and some.
And then the
Right.
director plays Hitler, right?
And then the director, Taika, he is essentially his imaginary friend.
What rhymes with Tycho? I mean, how do you say that name?
I think
Psycho.
Psycho? Okay.
Tycho the Psycho.
All right.
Taika. I think it's Taika because it's
Taika.
Taika.
Like I'm going to take a drink?
Yeah,
As
sure.
opposed to
Taika
Tycho?
drink.
Yes.
I mean, Tycho used to be like a Tyco, like a...
TYKO used to be
K-
the
what is that?
trucks.
The trucks, yeah. Wasn't
You're
it
right.
like a toy truck?
Yep.
Anyway.
But I'm pretty sure it's a little bit different.
I studied that name and I still don't even. I can't
No,
pronounce it. So I'm just letting you. You're doing all
As
the
well.
pronunciation. I'll say the director.
His Taika.
Exactly.
We'll just call him
exactly.
TW. Maybe.
TW. All right.
His last name is. I looked him up on Wikipedia, and his last name
Wikipedia?
is. Dang it. Wikipedia.
I looked him up on
There you go.
Wikipedia.
I looked him up. Yeah, okay.
What did it say?
And then his last name is made up. It's not his given last name.
Oh,
I didn't write down his given last name, of course, but
Johnson.
something like that. But Taika is his first name, but then
Gutierrez.
it's like something else. But yeah, as far as us liking the movie, I think we all liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was funny. It was sad. It was
Yep.
happy. It was tragic. But it was really good. I had seen it once before. We had watched it together, so I've seen it twice, and it was just as good the second time as was the first time. Good rewatchability, because there's some stuff you don't catch after the first time sometimes.
Right. Who was the girl who played the Jewish girl in there? She was good too. Everybody.
Torsum. Shoot, she's from New Zealand.
Everybody did.
I
All
didn't
the
write her
actors were
down.
good.
Yeah.
And,
We're all from
especially the boy
Commonwealth.
Davis. The show is all about him. And,
Right.
Think about a kid of 10 years old carrying the whole show.
Right.
If he doesn't do good, it sucks.
Right, yeah.
And if he's not believable, it's gonna.
Yeah.
He does an awesome job. The rest of them are all the young lady who plays the Jewish girl. She also
Elsa.
She also is key to making the show work.
Mm-hmm.
The other ones, I don't know. They could have maybe cast other. Although they have good actors and actresses in there,
Mm-hmm.
but boy had to do it, and he did
Mhm.
it. He did a
Yeah,
great job.
big
He
time.
did really good.
Yeah, it's a little bit. It reminded me of a couple of movies. One, well, a few movies, but the one, my other imaginary friend movie that I like so much is the one. Now I forgot the name of it, but with the girl has the
Drop Dead Fred.
Drop Dead
Right, yeah,
Fred.
yeah.
That's the best one, I think.
Yeah.
And then I also it reminded me of some Hitler's in the movie, and they make fun of him, and it's kind of like I don't know if you guys maybe haven't seen the Charlie Chaplin movie, The Dictator, but he plays Hitler kind of, and in the movie, because Charlie Chaplin's mustache is just the same as
Right.
Hitler's kind of, and Chaplin made the movie while Hitler was alive,
Right.
so it's
Yeah.
kind of a different
What?
thing. Yeah, it's from the 30s, and anyway, and then the final one that it reminds me of is called Life is Beautiful, the Italian movie where it's also about Nazi Germany, and it also is very funny and tragic all at the same time, and that's really really difficult to do, I would think, to make a movie that lighthearted but still have,
About like the worst time in modern
Yeah.
civilization,
Yeah,
pretty
yeah,
much.
yeah.
Yeah.
kind of
In
innocence.
the worst place. Yeah.
And like throughout the whole thing, like Hitler just keeps getting worse and worse,
Yeah.
keeps snowballing worse. He's like, "Oh, you're gonna do such great," and towards the end, he's like, "No."
Yeah, yeah.
And like he gets a little disheveled too. Like, JoJo goes through the movie, and essentially he's like diehard Nazi, and diehard 10-year-old Nazi. And over the course of the movie, he befriends the girl that's in the attic more and more, and he sort of unfriends his imaginary friend Hitler, and Hitler sort of senses this, which is kind of weird because it's a subconscious thing with the kid, and so he senses this sort of happening, and he kind of
He's like,
ups
"Well,
the ante.
I don't think you should hang out
Yeah,
with her
exactly.
anymore."
Yeah, I
It's
don't
like,
know, and then like I don't know if you're an actual Nazi, like, and then eventually it's
Very creative.
It's very creative, yeah.
Shows how the boy's awakening. It's a kind of a microcosm, I think, for our own awakening to propaganda.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
When it begins to unravel, it then we see kind of how insane in our own lives too, not just when you have Nazis around, but
And it's sort of like sometimes it
Something
happens all
just-
at once too,
right,
sort of, yeah.
and it can look really ugly.
Yeah.
And you think, oh my gosh, I used to believe that.
I used to like be on
Yeah,
that side.
I used to give
right?
I used to give them money.
Right,
whatever the
exactly,
case
yeah,
is,
right.
But
Totally. But then, and the actual officers, like Sam Rockwell plays essentially a higher up officer, and
yeah.
he's goofy, just
Oh,
completely
yeah.
goofy.
Yeah.
And everybody is a sort of a parody of what they represent, and then Stephen Merchant, like the tallest person in Hollywood, pretty much plays the SS captain, or whatever you'd say for their
"Oh yeah, the
higher
Gestapo."
up, the Gestapo. Thank you. Yeah, and he's just all the comments that he makes about Jewish people and stuff like that, and about Hitler, and like how inflated one is and how deflated the other one is.
He's
and,
always
like,
talking about like, "Oh, these people are so bad," and like,
right.
and he's like always like intimidating to him.
Yeah,
He's like the whole time he's just like, well, he's there like,
he's very tall, very like menacing, and he plays the part very well. They all play it pretty well.
yeah.
Yeah, it's that I was reading a review of the movie, and they kind of went over comedic treatments of Nazi Germany.
Sure.
And so you and like, for instance, I mentioned Charlie Chaplin's. There's also Mel Brooks, The Producers, where they do the little play within a play
Hitler
about
play, yeah.
the Hitler. They have Hitler, like, they're doing like the can,
Right, yeah.
or and they have and I was thinking of in my youth, it was the television show Hogan's Heroes,
Mm-hmm.
where the Germans, the World War II Germans, are just bumbling idiots,
Right.
and they.
And it's right under their noses, and like
yeah,
it's
and so
it's yeah.
anyway, they and somehow these, even in the greatest tragedy, which might be World War II, not sure there is a bigger tragedy worldwide. They,
Yeah.
they for some reason they were able to.
They poke so many jokes at like they're coming at us from both
It is
sides,
good, like,
and
90 years ago,
and then they have
so.
like a 12-year-old enlisted in the army, like his friend, like a 10-year-old
Oh, yeah,
actually.
yeah.
They're making those jokes.
Yeah.
It's funny.
the one weapon misfire, I think that's in the movie. The whole, like you
Yeah.
think it's happening so many different times. There's like,
Yeah.
I mentioned this before. Like somebody's like talking and they're gesturing with this Luger.
Yeah.
It's Rebel Wilson's got this Luger, and she's like, "Oh yeah, I saw that one time, and I saw this," and she's just waving, and you're just gonna think she's just gonna like accidentally pull one off, but she never does.
Yep.
But there is one accidental weapon discharge that's pretty funny, and it comes at the expense of, well, not the expense of, but his buddy is like the one that drops the missile launcher. and
Yeah.
it's pretty funny. But
Okay.
but the war doesn't come to the movie until the very end.
Yeah.
And it's all over by then anyway, so no one's really putting up much of a fight. But
Yeah.
but
Oh,
again,
and
there's not much actual
And
war
another cool
shots.
thing is like the person who plays JoJo, the kid, his younger brother or his younger twins played the.
Oh right, oh
clones.
that's right. So what was it? Roman Griffin Davis. He has younger twin brothers in the
Yep.
movie,
Right.
and they're
Not in the movie, but in real life.
well they're in real life, but they're in the movie as well.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying like in real life they're twins, but not
Oh.
like in the show.
Right. Well,
So
they
they're
play
just
the
acting.
same person in the movie
Yeah.
because they play clones.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And but they're able to like make 12 of them when there was only really 2 of them.
Yeah.
And that's a couple good shots of them. They have to take the clones out walking or something. They take the
Yeah.
clones for
That-
a walk.
I don't even know what
and it
that's.
just pans over, and there's like 12 just little
a-
chubby blonde
I
children
don't know if
just
that's a
standing
play on
there.
something or what. There was the Boys
I don't
from
know.
Brazil. There was a movie or a book, I think, where they cloned Hitler and raised him in
really?
Brazil. Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, or something like that. In
Gross.
yeah.
So I would rate the movie one of these.
Yep. I'm
Yeah.
giving it a 1. Yeah.
Definitely.
Go see it if you haven't seen it.
Yeah.
You still have to pay for it at the current,
I think it's $5 for rental right now. So
but it's
so
because
bad.
it's still it's not free streaming.
I'd
but
buy it. I mean, honestly, like
It's a good one.
if you like, I'd buy it.
I watched the Netflix series Space Force. Again, following along on my Netflix, top-rated Netflix shows. It's been probably the top-rated, whichever is number one. It kind of changes day to day on Netflix, but I'd say Space Force has been kind of solidly in the top few here for a few weeks since it came out in late May. It's only been out about 3 weeks, I think, or maybe 4 weeks. And so it stars Steve Carell from Office fame and many other movies and stuff at this point. But the big coup is John Malkovich, who plays his sidekick in the television show, and that is probably the surprising part about it.
Sure.
They actually got John Malkovich
Yeah.
to play this part. And he's in all of his glory, all of his over-enunciated glory that he has.
That's good.
And nobody enunciates like John Malkovich.
Nobody chews
does.
it up at like
Exactly. And so he's there, and
I mean, sorry.
Yeah,
Being John Malkovich, just watch that movie.
exactly. Or and so the premise is that the United States has to form a space force, which as coexisting with the Air Force now, because now space is being commercialized and weaponized and everything else. So now they have a new armed force called the Space Force, and there's a lot of humorous moments in it. I think it's a nice, a novel idea. There's a space race with China to get boots on the moon, and
Yeah.
so it's and the episodes they're breezy episodes. They're half-hour episodes, and it's they kind of resolve pretty well. There's a big cliffhanger at the end of the season, but the episodes have some resolution to each of them. I mean, it's not. There are some ongoing stories, obviously, but I could recommend it. I'd give it a 1. It's like I said, it's not hard to binge it. It's 10 episodes, 30 minutes a piece, so
5
you could,
hours.
yeah, you could do it in an afternoon if you wanted to. But I would say, and I'm not a big Steve Carell fan, but he does a good job, and I liked it. And the Phoebe from
Friends?
is
Lisa Kudrow?
Lisa Kudrow, sorry, is Steve Carell's wife.
Oh, okay.
And it's a crazy twist right away, but with their relationship. But so yeah, I
Does
recommend
he
it.
like
And he's like the main like guy of like Space Force.
are they in? They're not in space most of the time.
Not at all.
They're in.
They're not.
They're in
they're not
Virginia
in space.
or something like
Yeah,
that. Right?
they're in
Like,
Colorado. Yeah.
oh, okay,
It's
sure.
Super secret base
spot there.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
sweet. And then
They make a joke right at the beginning of the
and there's like a bunch of
series
like
about it.
okay, so there's like
He's like so like there's like 4-star generals in our military, and they each like control a branch
Right.
branch.
right.
It's like Air Force, Armed Forces, and stuff
Army,
like that.
Navy, Marines.
Yeah,
right.
like that. And then he's
And
like
he's the space
head of
guy,
Space Force, yeah.
essentially. Okay.
Yeah.
And he at the beginning he's like, oh shoot, I don't want to be this. I want to be the Air Force guy.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That's right. So anyway, it's a good one. And I was reading that they were speculating whether or not there'd be a season 2, which is like a lot of the. I reviewed one here a couple weeks ago called Outer Banks, and the same thing was really highly, watched and rated, and then with the pandemic, we don't know if they're gonna, when the season 2 is gonna come out, but pretty sure there will be one for Space Force, just
Yeah.
that it may be a while. Which, for me, I sometimes I have a tendency to watch the episodes that are there, and then even if I really like it, and then they come out with another season, I usually don't go back. I don't know why.
Yeah.
It's probably the perfect time to post stuff, like now.
Well, if you got it in the can, if you
Yeah.
I mean, if you've already made
And
it, but how do you make
produ-
it?
If you can produce it now and then do it, then that'd be really good as well.
Maybe that I hope not, but maybe they'll do everything on Zoom. They'll get all the actors in their homes to read their parts. Their faces will be there, and you'll have to visualize what it would look like.
That'd be a step back.
Yeah, that'd be a huge step.
Anyway,
That'd be bad news.
so that's they said, well, it's Netflix #1 show, so of course there's going to be a season 2. And but-
It seems like from who they got to be in it, they were definitely probably even just planning on. I'm like this. Clearly, we've got the right people to act in it. Seemingly, we've got the right writers to write it. Folks are going to like it. We're going to probably do 2 or maybe multiple seasons after that. You wouldn't get all those people
Yeah.
together and not. I mean, unless it was a complete like a complete disaster.
Yeah.
But like,
But it wasn't
But
because
it
like, a
doesn't.
bunch of people watched it.
I mean, it was #1 on the list and everything like
yeah,
that
that's
too.
true.
But like,
But the
It's
one
not
that makes
like-
me think that
It's
that,
not
go ahead.
like I also watched it too, and to me it's just like I liked it and stuff like that, but it's just not as good as the other TV shows that I've watched. But maybe like in the later seasons it'll get more interesting.
You mean that you've been watching recently?
Well, just
Y-
like yeah,
yeah,
and
comparatively,
in the
yeah.
past.
Yeah, I would say it's not the best show I've seen, but I've been entertained by it, and I'm not easily entertained. I'd say
That's what they all
of
say.
Netflix, of the what do you call pilots that I've watched, I probably watch 3 or 4 before I watch one that I'll even watch a second episode on.
Sure. Oh, sure.
You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
so it.
And 10 episodes at 30 minutes, that's not very much like content for
No.
for a season. So
for
like
that kind of thing, yeah,
they would-
exactly. It reminds me a little bit of Orville. If you guys watched Orville, the one with whatever his name is. That was
I
Oh.
heard about it, but I didn't.
a sci-fi one too.
No, I almost have the names
Oh,
on the
it's
tip of my
he's a
tongue.
Seth
cartoonist.
MacFarlane, right?
It's Seth
So it
MacFarlane.
was like the
Farlane.
Star Trek, the
Star Trek.
Star Trek
yeah,
spoof.
but that was
Comedy
again. That's
Star
they
Trek.
never. They said they
That
were
was
going to make a
pretty good,
season
too.
2.
Yeah, that was-
season
Well, they
2.
have a season 2 and season 3. I thought.
Is it anyway? I can't remember how many they had, but
I think they
that's
have
typical.
season 1 and season
I watched all the ones that were there, but I probably won't go back and watch.
Right.
I don't know what it
No,
is
it's
that.
more.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
So anyway, that's mine
Yeah.
this week. What do you guys got?
I watched the movie Fury. This was kind of because we were talking about Brad Pitt in the episode before,
Oh yeah.
and I didn't actually mention this movie when I was talking about my favorite Brad Pitt movies, and this one's a really good one. It was directed by David Ayers, and Brad Pitt, Michael Pena, Shia LaBeouf, John Bernthal, and Logan Lerman are the main characters, and Logan Lerman was Percy Jackson, if you remember that
Oh, yeah.
character.
Oh yeah.
This is definitely not Percy Jackson. It's a tank movie about World War II, and it follows one tank specifically called Fury, commanded by Brad Pitt, and the beginning of the movie they're coming out of a battle, and one of them has been killed, and they get a replacement who's Logan Lerman. His name's Norman in the movie, and he's like a clerk, like essentially a data entry guy, and they put him into a tank. So it's essentially a fish out of water kind of idea, kind of story. And over the course of the movie, they befriend him, and he figures out, how to shoot a gun and stuff like that. But it's pretty brutal. I mean, it's rated R and everything like that. But the idea is that they're just driving east through France or through Germany. I mean, it's like 2 weeks before the actual European theater ends. But
Like 2 weeks after. Also, they're like driving from west to east.
they're driving west to east through Germany. Yeah, I mean they've already been through France, I guess, but. A couple times they talk. The guys that are in the tank talk about how they were in Africa for a while. They were in North Africa for a while too.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, they find some other tank buddies and go to save this pinned down regiment, and they rescue them, and then they sort of get in more battles, and the rest of them kind of get wiped out. And then, the Brad Pitt tank Fury eventually gets to where the whole group should have gotten to, and defends this one spot, and that's kind of the end climax of the movie. But yeah, it's really good. I definitely recommend it. It's pretty straightforward. There's not much. Not much mystery or anything like that. It's just character-driven war movie, essentially. It might be, I think it might be the best Shia LaBeouf acting I've ever seen, and the best Michael Pena acting I've ever seen. Shia LaBeouf is the guy from Transformers, and then Michael Pena's in all the Ant-Man movies,
Oh yeah.
if you remember him. And the guy that talks really fast. It's like, wow, I talked to my buddy and blah, blah, blah. And it's all those, yeah. He's really good in those, too, but it's a completely different one. So if you want to see the range of Michael Pena, this Fury is a good movie to watch. And then watch Ant-Man, and they're very different. But then I hadn't really seen the Logan Lerman in anything before Percy Jackson, too, so he did a really good job as well. And then John Bernthal, he was kind of my least known of the 6 of them, or 5 of them, excuse me. but he's been in a bunch of other stuff as well. So,
Where did you watch it?
where did I watch it? I have it downloaded.
Oh.
I mean, I have an actual copy.
Okay, it's not streaming anywhere.
I didn't check. I would probably say no. That would be something.
What year was it made?
2014. My bad.
Oh, it was not a new movie.
No. A little bit about the Wikipedia page on the movie is pretty great. There's talk of like it's kind of cool. Like David Ayers, the director, put the five guys through a lot of like basic training stuff like that, and like made them live in the tank for a while, like all five of them. And like they would even go to the bathroom and stuff like that in the tank. And then there's some stories on the Wikipedia page about how I'd watched the movie and then right after it like looked him up and said, some of the real stuff was even crazier than the actual movie and stuff like that. So if you watch the movie,
is it based on a true story?
No, it's not. I mean, you
But
could have
this is
probably
after-
said loosely based on a true story, but
And this
or
is
based
after
on
the
true
European-
events.
Book, maybe.
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
And this is after like the white, like the
This is very end of the war. Very end. Like,
very end, not the end, like not after.
No, not the after the end, but just before the end. Yeah. It had sort of a comic book feel to it, because there was a couple. There's a couple images that I saw when I was searching for the movie poster and stuff like that had sort of a graphic novel feel to it, and then like the very last shot of the movie is sort of comic booky as well too. But so yeah, very good. Fury, excellent.
I watched the TV show Avatar: The Last Airbender. It ran from 2005 to 2008. It is probably the best cartoon show I've ever watched, and I've watched a bunch of cartoons. It's like an anime, but like people from here wouldn't say it's an anime because like animes are from Japan, but like it's an anime, and it's for kids and stuff like that. But even me now, like I've never watched it before like I started watching it like a month ago. But they're 22-minute episodes, 60 episodes. But it's just so good. Like even watching it now at 16, it's still really good, and all my friends think it's all really good as well. Like we watch it a bunch, and they watched it when they were kids, and they still watch it now.
Was it on Nickelodeon or something?
It is a Nickelodeon show,
Yeah, okay.
but it's on Netflix now.
Right.
And it's like in the top of the top 10 list as well. It's been ranging in there past couple weeks, last month. Yeah, it's really good. So basically, there's 4 elements, and like there's air, water, earth, and fire. Like casual stuff. But basically, and there's like an avatar. There's only one person in the world that has mastered all of them, and he gets reincarnated, and it's kind of like a monk thing as well, like they believe in like the reincarnation's like kind of like a Buddhist thing or whatever. Like the main character is like a 12-year-old, but then like he's supposed to be the avatar, but then you like get stuck and he gets frozen for 100 years, and then the whole world is like all corrupted because the avatar is supposed to keep the order, but then he's away for a while, so then everything gets effed up, and he has to like master all of them because he's like an airbender, so he's really good at airbending. But all the other 3 he's like sucks at. So he has to like bring peace back to the world. And then
Kind of like The Last Jedi or something like that.
kinda. And oh my gosh, the character development, not like just him, but like all the other characters, like even the bad guys are so good. Like the main bad guy, you don't see much of him. I mean, like the main bad guy, he has like the hugest character arc. And then like he's like the other kid, he's like 16. He's like the bad kid, and his arc is insane. Like it's so good. Like he's probably my favorite character in the show.
What's the name of that character?
Zuko.
Zuko.
And then he has a grandfather, or his uncle, yeah. And he's really good as well, and he tries to guide him towards, kind of like towards the light side.
It's made in English, right?
Yeah, it's made in English. The Fire Nation attacks, and they're really powerful because everyone was at peace. The Fire Nation just killed all the air tribes. Like, that's like the beginning.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Well,
That's why he's the last airbender.
That's what they kill all of them. Yeah, Avatar: The Last Airbender. They kill all of them to try to get rid of the Avatar, but he's already, because like the plan was set, to, and then you learn more, and there's like a bunch of history and how it happens, and it's really good. I would give it a 1. And
The name of it again is?
Avatar: The Last Airbender,
Oh, nice.
and his name is Aang.
Don't watch the movie though, right?
Movie bad.
Movie bad.
There's a
It's
bad-
really
there's a
bad.
movie?
It's like live action.
Yeah.
It's live action, and the casting is bad. And it's focused on like there's like 3 books, and those are the 3 seasons. And there he's mastering a new element every time. And I don't know like if adults would like it, but like I'd say even like 20-year-olds would like it. But I'm not 20, but still.
Well, our wild card topic of the day, of the episode, is ranking the Star Wars movies from I guess most favorite to least favorite in this
Yep.
situation.
Okay, I'm going to give you mine worst to
You
best.
slip up once,
Worst
you're
to best.
done.
I was trying to decide because if I watched them all over again, I probably would rank them differently. So I'm going to give them to you since I'm probably the only one who's, at least in our panel, who saw them all when they were new.
Yeah.
Okay, so and so I kind of give them to you the way I reacted to them when I saw them.
Sure.
So the worst one is Solo. Sorry.
Oh,
The next worst one is number 1. The
Phantom Menace.
I have them ranked by their number. So,
I did too.
not by the when the movie came out, but the number in the chronological order of the story. So, the next worst one is number 2.
Attack of the Clones.
The next worst one is number 9. Then 8. Then 7.
Skywalker. 8, then 7. Okay.
Yeah. Then 3. That's the only
Revenge
one.
of the Sith.
That's the best one of all of the new ones to
Prequels.
me, except for
Not the new ones.
well,
The prequels.
Well,
yeah, the
newer
prequels,
ones.
yeah, the
Oh,
newer
the
ones.
second, the middle ones.
Except for Rogue. What's Rogue? What's that one?
Rogue One.
Rogue One.
Rogue One is the next after number 3. I really like that one. And then because the first 3 came out, I have them ranked in reverse order: 6, 5, 4. So the first one that I saw, I have to rank the best. Many people think that The Empire Strikes Back number 2, which was number 5, is actually the best of the first 3. I think that was the kind of the overall consensus, but and it was good. I just but I always liked the first one. I don't know why, but so
Yeah.
so there you go. That's my ranking, and I was part of it was the reason
What are
the
your
best-
rankings like for like the least ones? Why
the
did you
one
rank them
number
so
s-
badly?
well, I just didn't like the first 3 movies, except for the one that explained how Darth Vader became Darth Vader, number 3. I thought that was pretty creative, and it was very long though.
And
The
then
first
It's
one,
very
that-
long.
when after the first 3, then number 1 came out, right? And oh man, we all thought that was the worst movie ever. But
Yeah.
now I've seen
We-
it again,
we
and it's
built
not
it up.
quite as bad.
Yeah,
It's
our
not quite as bad as it was,
expectations
but when
were-
it came out, it was
Yeah.
like
It was
total
really-
blast.
it was
But
really-
then and then there was another big gap, and then number 7 came out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, I really did like that one.
I like 7. Yeah.
7 was cool, and one of my best moments in all of watching Star Wars was seeing the Millennium Falcon again in number 7. It was,
Yeah.
it was like I
Yeah.
like teared up.
That
It's
was
terrible to
pretty
see
sweet.
this.
Yeah, right.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
Sure.
Anyway, so it had some moments, but anyway, that's mine. I've enjoyed watching all of them.
Yeah.
And I'm
yeah.
sorry to rank Solo the last one. It's just that that one just kind of hit me wrong. But it could maybe be that one could be a little bit higher. I don't know. But I only saw that one once. But I've seen them all. So that's
Yeah.
11 movies. That's
Yeah.
Todd's ranking right there. Who's next?
Todd's.
Okay,
Star
I'll go
Wars.
next. The last one for me just because I just didn't like it at all. Wasn't like any of the other Star Wars movies. It doesn't mean it's bad, but it's just bad for me. It's just bad.
Just say it.
Is-
The Last Jedi, in number 8.
oh, that's number 8.
Yeah,
Okay.
number 8, The Last Jedi. Like, poopy.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I didn't like that one much either.
yeah, it's just
It was
that
weird. It was a weird one.
they just killed off Luke. He didn't have to die.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
he didn't like sacrifice like much.
Right.
And then 10 is The Phantom Menace, number 1. 9 is Solo. 8 is Rise of the Skywalker, which is number 9. 7, Attack of the Clones, which is number 2. 6, Force Awakens, which is episode 7. 5 is Rogue One. 4 is Return of the Jedi, so episode 6. 3 is A New Hope, which is number 4, episode 4. Then 2 is Revenge of the Sith, episode
7?
3.
Episode 3. Oh yeah.
Revenge of the Sith, where
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah,
turns. And then number 1, Empire Strikes Back.
It's pretty. Our lists
Episode 5.
aren't too unsimilar.
No, we have like the same ones at the bottom,
Considering we're like
same ones at the top. Kind of.
considering
Mine are
we're like
all,
50
like-
years apart.
Mine are all sectioned off.
Yeah.
So
What do you got? Let's
What's
hear
at the
yours.
bottom?
so I've got
Yeah.
all 3 prequels are my last 3. So Phantom Menace,
Yeah.
Revenge of the Sith,
Attack of the Clones.
Attack of the Clones.
Uh-huh.
1, 3, 2.
Uh-huh.
And then I've got the most recent trilogy, and I've got 8, 9, 7. So what was 8 again?
Last Jedi.
Last Jedi,
Force
Skywalker.
Awakens.
No. Last Jedi,
Oh yeah, Skywalker. Rise of the Skywalker.
Rise of the Skywalker.
Rise of the Skywalker. Yeah.
And then Force Awakens.
No.
And then I've got Solo and Rogue One. So Rogue One is my 4th favorite Star Wars. Solo is my 5th favorite.
Okay.
Okay.
Neither of you guys like that one, I guess, but I liked it a lot. And then I've got Empire Strikes Back, New Hope, Return of the Jedi for my 1, 2, 3.
You liked the Wookiees, didn't
So
you?
I did
Yeah, I did too. That was one of the best parts of the first 3. Of
the
the
Wookiees.
was not the Wookiees, the little
Ewoks.
Ewoks, sorry.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the Ewoks.
Yeah, those were good. Yeah.
That totally made the number 6.
We can all agree that Phantom Menace is bad.
We're all pretty close. I mean, I have maybe Soul a little lower than you do, but otherwise ours are pretty similar. And same with Gabe. Yeah, I felt bad about ranking the first 3 all as the top 3 because they're the first 3, so it wasn't so easy
But
to
also
live
they're
up
just
to.
better,
Let's
though.
take the first 3 though. Now, what's your next best one after the first 3? You say
Rogue One.
Revenge of the
that's
Sith.
the same. Okay, so you got Sith and Rogue One. Okay, you like this Return of the
The
Sith better
reason-
than we did. Why?
Yeah, the reason why I love the Return or Revenge of the Sith is well, obviously I'm a fanboy for the clones and stuff, and I would say like like him, what's his name, like Anakin.
Yeah.
Or his actor or whatever. He does he doesn't do for me. He doesn't do well in 2. It's really awkward. But in 3, it just shows how he develops into just a crazy man, and everything with Obi-Wan and his relationship just dwindles in 1 episode. It starts deteriorating, and it's really good in that way for me.
You were the chosen one!
I thought it was very creatively written to link those first 2 episodes with what we all knew as number 4, with the New Hope.
Yeah.
We knew it had to go
Yeah.
toward that, and then it was also why
they did
Rogue
really
One
well.
fits so nicely in there. I mean,
Yeah,
even though
Rogue
there's all
One-
different characters.
Yeah,
Right.
But-
Rogue One is instantly before
Right.
New Hope, and
Right.
3 is a couple
But-
years or
maybe.
No,
or
it's
10,
it's like
10 or 20.
it's 18 years.
Yeah, it's 10.
Because
or
Luke
20.
Luke and Leia are born at the end of 3.
Yeah.
And Luke's like
28.
17, 18 in New
Yeah,
Hope.
yeah. So okay, well,
There's
18, 20
there's
years
talks
after.
of Ewan McGregor doing Obi-Wan Kenobi a show in those 18 years. So Obi-Wan Kenobi from
Yeah, through, the
between
years.
episode 3 and 4.
like how he like
see what
lives
how
and
he-
how he like helps Luke.
Right. I mean, he's sort of like considering what he looks like at the end of episode 3 and what
Yeah, that doesn't make
Alec
any
Guinness
sense.
looks like at the
Yeah.
beginning of episode 4. That's not 18
It doesn't
years.
make sense.
That's
That's
not
like-
18
that's
years
like
of aging,
40
but that doesn't matter. Doesn't
It's like
matter.
40 or 50
He's a
years.
Jedi. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
They
he,
age twice as
he
fast.
like he goes off into a far off planet and like ages and then comes back or something.
Yeah. Well,
But like I'm kind of excited about that one.
Have you watched The Mandalorian?
I've only watched some of it.
Me too.
Only some?
I haven't finished it yet. No, I should.
Then
So, I mean,
you
so-
should
so-
probably finish it because for me, it's also it's a thing between 6 and 7, between those timelines
Right.
of the fall of the Empire and the rise of a new empire,
Right.
or the rise of the First Order,
Yeah.
and it like
That'd be
it's
cool.
it's the funny thing is it's like Germany during World War One and then Germany World War Two, but like it's like opposite flipped. I don't know. It's not like it, but it's kind of like it.
Interesting. Yeah, it seems like a good show. I just
Yeah.
You could rank the non-Star Wars movie or non-movie Star Wars shows. I
And
guess
then
there's
the
only
Clone
like,
Wars is pretty
there's
good.
only
The
like 3.
animated.
The anime, I've seen that. That's
That's
excellent.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, that's
it's
really
just
good.
the two, right? Mandalorian and the Clone Wars. There's only.
No, those are the two popular ones. There's like a couple like other like mini things,
Really? Oh,
but they're not like
Yeah,
big.
yeah. I mean, it's the only 2 that we would probably.
yeah. Those are the Clone Wars ones are really good.
So 1 up for Star Wars.
one up for Star Wars.
It's like
So
yeah.
3 up for Star Wars.
3 up for Star
Yeah,
Wars.
Pretty much.
6
We're-
up.
Well, so we in summary we hit Jojo Rabbit 3 up,
3
3
up.
out of 3. Space Force we had maybe 1.5 out of 2. Gave it a 2. Okay. And Fury 1 out of 1.
Yep.
And
Avatar: Last Airbender,
definitely
1.
And so
And all the Star Wars movies are good. Just some of them aren't as good.
Not as good as others.
Highly recommended.
We should rank the Star Trek movies next episode.
I haven't even.
You know what I'd
watched
like
all
to
of
rank
them.
for Star Trek is the TV series because I think that's a
Wait,
much
we
more
can get
meaty.
the whole. We can get the whole.
There's a lot more stuff in Star Trek than there
we
is
can,
in Star Wars.
We can get
yeah.
the whole Star Trek thing on CBS now.
All
like, they have
the original
everything.
series movies.
Everything.
I watched the original
Really?
motion
Like
picture.
you have to like get CBS, like the like
I have
Netflix,
it.
but CBS.
CBS All
There's, like,
Access.
Every Star Trek thing on there. I'm pretty sure. At least
Oh.
I saw an ad for it.
Yeah, I started watching the new. Jean-Luc Picard. It's just called Picard. I forget what his real name is. That guy, that bald guy from
Oh.
Star Trek Next Generation. Anyway, he's got a new series out
Right.
where he's an old guy,
Right.
and it's kind of
Patrick
interesting.
Stewart. Patrick Stewart.
Patrick Stewart.
My goodness.
How did we forget that?
I have no idea.
All right, should we wrap her up?
Yes.
Yep.
Thanks for
Thank-
watching.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thanks for watching.
See you next time.
Episode 4.